So I'm going to show you how to make a block paper pad for watercolor. What you're going to need is you're going to need some sort of padding compound, a paintbrush. You will also want to have some watercolor paper. It should be cut to the same size as the cardboard backing. Now, in addition to that, you'll need to have paper towel to put under it so you don't make a giant mess. And I have 4 binder clips here, which will help us keep everything aligned and keep everything from kind of coming apart. Now, one big thing is to make sure that everything is pretty much the same size. If you have anything that's not the same size, make sure to correct that. If it's a little off, though, that's okay. So I'm looking at this and I'm seeing that maybe there is a tiny bit of offness on the edge, but these other edges are fine. And so I'm going to just go ahead and go with it. I use a paper cutter to cut mine to size 2, and the size that I have right here is a 5 by 5. Now, as far as how many pages to do, it's up to you, right? You can do as many as you want. You can even add to it too. So if you use up the whole pad or you used up most of the pad, you can always just cut some more, plop it on top, and use the glue again. Now, when I'm clipping these on, I can kind of use the clips to align the pages. Ooh, there goes one of my clips. To align the pages with the cardboard backing. And then once it's all clamped on there, I'm going to remove one and I'm going to open up my padding compound. Now, if you're in a class, I'm going to give you just a little bit of padding compound, but I'm going to just dip directly into this padding compound. This brush I'm using, by the way, is just like a kind of a cheap bristle brush. You don't want to use anything fancy because this is glue. When you clean it off the brush, I would suggest just using water, cool water, to clean it off. All right, so here's the first side. I'm just going to go ahead, take this, and paint it onto here. You need to make sure that it connects all the way to the cardboard base. And you can apply it pretty liberally if you want. There is one paper on here that's kind of jetting out more than the others. Hopefully that isn't too big of a problem, especially since I have 3 other sides that I'm going to be painting. All right, so I've got that on there. I can take this and put it on. Now, I'm not going to go all the way over this time. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap there so you can see so that it doesn't touch. Now, I like to leave the clip like this because when it sets down, it doesn't set it directly on top of the paper or the table too. All right, so the other side. By the way, this padding compound usually needs to be shaken prior to use, so don't forget to do that. And you want to try to avoid getting it on the top page, but if it does, that's not too big of a deal. One thing you can do is you can just peel off that top page, maybe use a different piece of paper. Instead of watercolor paper, make it some sort of throwaway paper that you can peel off afterwards. My top page has some marks on it. It's got a little schmutz on it. So I'm not too concerned about a little bit getting on top. And you can see this is quite quick. I have done this before and only done a layer on all 4 sides. And I really don't think you need to do more than 1 layer, but if you did want to do more than 1 layer, you just would have to let it dry and then add your second coat. I have tried it with 3 coats and I really just felt like it was too difficult to peel the pages apart. So 1 coat I think is plenty. Alrighty. And now that all 4 sides are painted, I can let it dry for 30 minutes and maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and then it should be ready to go next time I want to use it. All right. One thing to note is when you're peeling apart the pages, sometimes it can be a little tricky to peel without tearing the page. I usually use some sort of hobby knife to get between the pages, and then once I have a corner up, I can peel the rest off. But it's great for plein air painting with watercolor. It's great. It's very portable, and you can use pretty cheap watercolor paper and it won't curl because of all the glued edges. So hopefully you enjoyed watching this, and I look forward to seeing your wonderful little pads. Oh, also, I would suggest if you're doing this in a class, go ahead and put your name on it. So that way you can locate it. All right. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy.